record that. Okay, great. Oh, well, welcome to the Youth Leaders Seminar. And I don't know everybody, so maybe it'd be a good idea just to say who you are and what you do. So I'm Ellis Norton. I work for Ivy Bridge Youth for Christ, and I do sort of detached work. I did used to do schools work, but I don't anymore, although a member of our team does primary school work still. And we support churches as well with their youth work. Who would like to go next? Ollie, why don't you go next?
I'm Ollie, as you can see just there. Oh, I'm not as good as a presenter. Anyway, I'm Ollie. I work for Southwest Youth Ministries. I have two roles with Swim. So the first role was I'm the resource manager, which means I oversee all the events and stuff that we do. So I used to run events, not anymore. And then the second part I do is I oversee the first year students at Swim. I also live in Saltash, so also local.
Want to go next, Simon?
Oh yeah, my name's Simon. You might hear my nephew screaming in the background. I apologise for that. Yeah, I work for Resource Schools, which is part of the Christian Resources Project. Yeah, I think I know most of you actually in various different ways. Yeah. Oh, apart from Louise, I don't know. Well, I'll find out in a sec.
Louise, you go next then.
Yeah. But yeah, so I work in schools and at the moment work in one school, thankfully still. Yeah, and obviously the church, Zoom groups now, and youth. So yeah, lots of stuff really.
Louise.
Yeah, hi, I'm from Cornwall. Have you heard of Cornwall? Ollie knows where Cornwall is. I'm from Callington, and I'm a part-time children and families worker in the Methodist Church.
Zoe?
Yeah, hi, my name's Zoe. I work for Hope Baptist Church here in Plymouth. I am their children and families worker, but a youth worker has left in the last week. So we'll begin to head up our youth work as well at the moment in this interim season. But I'm quite new to Plymouth, so I don't know very many of you at all. I've only worked at Hope for a year, but I did Swim before that. So,
Alex, do you want to go next?
Yeah, I'm Alex, live in Plymouth. My wife and I are the youth team coordinators at Plymouth Vineyard Church, and we're also pioneering a team launching Plymouth Youth for Christ in the coming year, which is exciting.
Cool. It looks like you're doing November.
I am doing November. It's slightly pathetic at the moment, but this is day 8, so it's coming on.
Well done. Veronica, do you want to go next?
Yeah, I'm Veronica. I do youth administration at Methodist Central Hall and work with an amazing, fantastic team of youth workers and children's workers, really. Yeah, it's really good. But obviously now it's a little bit like, what do we do? So, yeah.
Fantastic. I've been thrown slightly because my way of doing my system of going around the grid has suddenly changed because Hamish and Rachel have joined us. Welcome, Hamish and Rachel.
Hi.
We were just doing our introductions. Callum, do you want to go next?
Yeah, so I'm Callum. I work with Hamish and Rachel at PCC Youth. I also work for Barefoot Youth, which is in Ernest Hattle, Whitley and St. Bedox. So we do detached and session work there. And I also work with Greenbank Youth.
Fantastic, busy boy. Yeah, that's great. So you work with Hamish and Rachel. That links us in nicely. So do you want to introduce yourselves? I think most people know you.
Yeah, Rachel and Hamish. And we head up the youth team at Plymouth Christian Centre. So yeah, that's what we do.
Fantastic. Great. So this is just a chance. We've only got sort of another sort of 15, 20 minutes or so, but it's just a chance for us to reconnect. I think it's been a while, really, if we're honest, about having a youth network, and I've certainly missed it. I know Phil Blunt used to run a breakfast, and Swim and Glow used to run breakfasts, and they kind of fizzled out. And obviously, with all that's been going on in the last few months, that's been more and more of a challenge. Although I have met some of you on various other Zoom situations. We were at our CTIP enabling group about a month ago, and I just thought, yeah, it'd be really good to sort of try and start something up again, even if it's just this is the starting point and we come up with some ideas of what to do. I was really challenged by what they were talking about earlier about praying together. And again, that was something that youth leaders used to do a while back. They used to get together and pray, albeit at a very early hour. I think it was like 5 o'clock in the morning at McDonald's or something, which I didn't always make. I think I made it once. Yeah, this is just a chance for us to reconnect, to share ideas about what we're doing or not doing, you know, support each other in stuff that we're not doing, and just help each other out. Does anyone else want to say anything about either about something they've heard so far this morning, or whether there was any kind of response to that, this whole idea of being a youth network, and what your thoughts are?
In response to what you just said, Ellis, about getting together, that's certainly something I'm really passionate about. I still consider myself new, even if Paul Friend doesn't. I'm meant to know everything, but I consider myself new. So I've only moved to the Southwest 2.5 years ago, so I'm still learning the ropes really, and building those relationships. But my experience, this is genuinely true. I don't mean this just to build everyone up or anything, but my observations is that there's an incredible gifted bunch of children and youth workers in Plymouth and the surrounding areas. It's brilliant, and obviously with my kind of role I get to connect with all of you in some kind of form, and genuinely what I just observe in all of you is just fantastic. And it's just it just be, so I see that, I do see that, but I do also feel like for whatever reason we kind of just struggle to connect. And I think I think upon reflection, from what I've seen it as, I think there's always, every time we've met, there's been some kind of agenda with the meeting, whoever's hosting the meeting. And I think actually from my point of view, it'd be really cool to see something where there isn't an agenda as such. It's not like we're trying to push an event or anything, but actually just coming together on a regular basis to pray, share what each other are doing, maybe invite a guest speaker to just help us grow in whatever form. But yeah, taking away the agenda part and just trying is what I'm thinking. But basically, in summary, I think you guys are amazing, and I'd love to connect more with you, and because I learned from meeting with you guys, and yeah, it'd be great if we can make that happen in some form.
Definitely, I'll be all for. I think the thing I miss about the youth leader breakfasts is the relational side of things, really, more than anything. I don't know about you, but there's so many good resources out there, and it's just no more resources. There's all, it gets to a point where it's about overload on that front sometimes. But just somewhere to connect and pray with and for each other, I think would be amazing. Yeah.
No, I'd really appreciate that. I think it's a fair comment. Just to hear what else is going on in the city, brainstorm some problems, and just work out. I'm with you there, Alex. There's lots of resources, but equally sometimes it's good to ask people if they've tried out the resources and if it's worked with their young people or children, and hear that as well. It's really helpful.
I first met you, Zoe, didn't I? Last week, was it, or the week before?
Yeah.
The Children's Leaders Network, and that's kept going. That's fairly strong, and it was really useful just to have that devotional time as well, that prayer time, looking, somebody shared something from the scripture. And youth and children's work, if you've been in it for any length of time, you'll know it can be a lonely old road.
Yeah. There
can be issues that crop up that make you feel isolated, make you feel maybe slightly out of the loop. Some people here are church youth leaders, some are more with youth organizations, you may have heard the talk about Ephesians 4 and thought, well, where do I fit in? And you might think, well, I've got to be a pastor to the young people, I've got to be a bit of an evangelist, I've got to be a bit prophetic, and you kind of think you're a mixture of everything, and that can be, you know, quite hard as well, to just trying to work out who you are, and you've got to be a bit of a jack of all trades. But having other people who understand that, who get that, it is really useful, really helpful.
I also love what Stephen Sutton was saying about you know, when we meet and when we pray together, that trust builds and those friendships build, and it just becomes natural to do stuff together, and it's just so organic. And I know all of us in this call have seen that happen before. It's just encouraging that, I suppose.
Yeah, I'll build on that with Stephen. It's quite interesting with Plymouth. You've got those like little villages, basically little, I guess, communities. Is how it's going to work in a city. It's not a massive city, but yeah. And I've kind of, being in the job I'm in at the moment and kind of connecting with those different villages, you kind of see the different things that are going on, and the strengths and weaknesses as well. And it's just really, really encouraging, actually, if we can start something that's uniting all those different areas together, because you get that kind of silo mentality where you're trying to defend your area, and it's like, oh dear, no. Careful, guys. But yeah, no, it'd be great to start something to unite us better, definitely.
Right. I mean, the challenge is obviously when and how and all that sort of thing, and it's good to hear that CTIP are wanting to do, I think next Monday for church leaders or anyone who's on this this Zoom day, this conference. But I'm guessing we probably want to do something slightly different to that, and we can go to that as well, I guess. But we probably need to come up with something ourselves. But I mean, I was thinking, you know, like maybe not quite so early as the 5 o'clock at McDonald's, but equally something that may work for a lot of people. I know a lot of people do youth work on a Friday night in their churches, so that is often a day when people are at least working. And I just wondered off the top of my head whether like a 10 o'clock till 11 o'clock on a Friday morning is any good. But it would be Zoom at the moment, wouldn't it? So it's you know, it's not going to take a lot of traveling or as much effort maybe as going out for breakfast. What do people think about that? Is that as a starter, you know, maybe meeting up on Fridays?
For us, that would be good. I think it's mid-morning. It doesn't break into your whole day. And yeah, and we've got that focus of youth work still going on a Friday. Well, we have. Yeah, I think that sounds great. It's kind of cup of coffee time, isn't it? And let's just meet, and yeah, I think that's.
And the great thing about Zoom is it makes it accessible for everyone, because there's not travel issues, is there?
Right.
So
it's worth mentioning at this point that there is a Facebook group that I think most of you are on, which is kind of a youth leaders network. Now, is anyone not on that and would like to join it? So Callum, maybe you could get that detail from Hamish, because Rachel, you're on it, aren't you?
Louise as well put her hand up.
Louise, do you do Facebook, Louise?
I do, yes, yeah.
Okay, so maybe if I search for you and then add you to that group, and then you'll get posts of all the different ideas that people put on there. Excuse me, we can advertise that Zoom meeting for Fridays, and then we can kind of start networking, and it'll be, you know, one of those drop in, drop out, whoever can make it sort of thing. So hopefully we'll gather a few more from that as well. Okay, so 10 o'clock on Fridays seems okay. Potentially we could mix it up a bit. I know some people on that network will be volunteers and maybe working during the day. Not everyone's a professional youth worker, but speak now if you have any suggestions, ideas, objections about that. But
the only thing I was just going to say, and Fridays genuinely work very well for me. My thought, but I know Ollie, it depends. That if we can get some input from Gemma Mansfield, who's like this area coordinator of for swim in Plymouth, I don't know if a Monday, if people had suitability on a Monday afternoon, but equally we can stick with Friday. But I just thought I'd put that out there.
What are you thinking about Monday afternoon?
Well, it was just in that she wouldn't be able to join in a conversation on a Friday if we wanted that input. But if Ollie can input, that was it was more time wise. If people had Mondays, was my comment.
I don't, unfortunately. I'm in school on Mondays.
So yeah, that's the challenge we're going to get, is time that everyone can do. But yeah.
I think if we just get something started, and then we can always kind of say mix it up a bit so that more people can have a chance to.
It may well be that it meets different times. Yeah, that's a good point.
It may have to be an evening sometimes, and I know that's a nightmare usually for youth workers, but just to accommodate some of the volunteers really, and just to kind of plug them into stuff. But obviously there are different challenges for professional full-time kind of people. Anyway, okay. Well, that there's some good thoughts, and we'll give that a start, and we can use the Facebook for that. We've probably only got about 5 minutes. Has anyone got any particular thing that they want to raise? I know when I was chatting to you, Alex, and we were talking about what's it going to contain, and I thought, well, it might bring up some online discussions about, you know, online youth work, or it might bring up about mental health or other stuff. But I'm quite easy for this next 5 minutes, just to go with one of those topics or a different topic, or just to pray if we think that we've probably not got much time. It's just whatever people want to do, really.
Something I've really appreciated in this lockdown period is getting back to that one-on-one working with young people, and I think it's been really beneficial. I think our groups have gone radically smaller. Everything we've had to adapt, which has been, it was like, oh, how are we going to do this? But actually it's been a real gift. Well, for me personally, I know it's been difficult. I'm not saying it's been dead easy, but I really feel it's been a gift, and it's refocused us and got us back to the main thing a little bit. It's about people, it's about discipling them, moving from one place to another. And so yeah, I think it's been really interesting. But it's also very challenging, isn't it? Having to adapt and how we work well with those one-on-one and your time management. I mean, we're taking kids out one-on-one for dog walks, you know, but you can imagine how labor intensive that is with like 60 kids, you know. Challenging. I know, the poor dog.
He's well exercised.
Yeah, but I think there's been some real positives to come out of it as well. I don't know if anyone else found the same, but I feel like we've really got back to the heart of it somehow.
Breakout room will close in less than 2 minutes. I've just had a warning up. So.
Yeah, I can relate to that, Rachel. The just like, so I also volunteer in my church as a humble volunteer youth worker. But like, yeah, going back to the essence of it all, and one-to-ones is a real joy and stuff at the moment as well. So that's really, really good. The struggle we're having is that we've got a mixture of, we thought everyone would love to want to meet back in person in some form. We've had half of them actually don't want to do that and still want to continue going on Zoom. We're like, oh, okay. Right. So we're having to like manage a split in our youth group of some want to be in person and some don't. And yeah, how we manage that.
Very disconcerting having the countdown, 35 seconds to go. It's like, shall we start another conversation?
Wash your hands now, can't you?
Yeah. It's brilliant to see you all, and thanks for taking part. And we'll put something up on Facebook, I guess, and try and meet on Fridays.
Great. Thanks, Alex.
Thank you.
Thank you.
God bless now.
10, 9.
Nothing.
Okay, hopefully we've got people back in the room. We're just trying to shift. That was the most challenging part of the day, was trying to get everybody into their rooms. If your room went wrong or froze, we do apologize. I think one of the rooms we're hearing didn't work properly. So we're not sure how we'll make that up to you. So we have a, oh dear, there's things going off all over the place. Can you just mute your machine? Turn your audio on. It's off. That's off. Oh. Okay, so we're going to break for a few minutes. We will start the countdown again at 11:05. So you've got about 6 or 7 minutes, and then a 2-minute. Go and have a cup of coffee. We'll see you in a minute, and everything will be fine. I did that.
We've had our coffee, we don't need another one. Wonderful. Next time we have a lockdown, perhaps I'll have got this sorted. I don't mean them personally, I mean...
Maybe your microphone is not muted.
Joanna.
Just to be aware that you've got
Hello.
your